Okay, this is page 3 of the Unit 5 study guide. We're looking at choosing a method to solve. You can use our choices just as a rundown of choices we've had. We've used GCF, factor by GCF. We've used the X method. We've used square rooting. We've used the quadratic formula. So this is your choice to shine. If there's a particular way that you've preferred or that you know how to do, there are some situations that we can't use all of them, though. So like this first one, number 15, x, 10x, and 24, they don't have anything in common. You can't use greatest common factor. There's more than just a squared term, so you can't just square root. So for this one, our choices are X method or quadratic formula. This one you'll notice isn't set equal to 0, so set equal to 0 by minusing 15 to the other side. Okay, so again now it looks like this one we want to use the X method or quadratic formula. If the X method doesn't work, it could be not factorable, so you'll want to use the quadratic formula. This one's not set equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract these two over. So this could be, it looks like, just like the other ones, an X method or a quadratic formula. So I want to show you why this one, you go and put negative 10 here and 6 here. And you think about, okay, what are the factors of like 10? You have 1 times 10 or 2 times 5. There's no way that either one of those factors can add up to a 6 or subtract to a 6. So this one can't be factored. So can't factor. If it can't factor, then you have to use the quadratic formula. And this one is not set equal to 0, so if you want to set it equal to 0, you could. And it would look like this. You would have plus 4 to the other side. You would have x squared equals 4. Or you could do subtract the 5 and get x squared minus 9 equals 0. That's supposed to be a 9. So here's two options. Let's say you want it to look like this. X squared equals 9. That looks like a pretty simple problem. If you do that, then you can square root. Because neither one of those have x's, so you can just add those together. If you square root 9, you would get x equals positive and negative 3. So that's one option to do on that. If you just wanted to use the X method like this, you set it equal to 0 because we set all the rest of them equal to 0. You have negative 9 up top and 0 on the bottom. In order for that to work out, we would need to have a positive 3 and negative 3. Those would be the factors of 9 that add up to 0. So you can group the first two, group the second two. Take out their GCF. And then when you set each one equal to 0, so just reviewing very, very quickly there, the X method, you write your X, you take the middle terms, you put them in the middle, you take out what they have in common, you write your two parentheses, set them equal to 0, you add 3 to the other side here. 0 plus 3, you get x equals 3. This one, if you subtract 3 to the other side, you get x equals negative 3. So it's just a different way to write positive 3 and negative 3. So if you just have like an x squared and a number, you can square root that number, but just don't forget that that's two answers, positive 3 and negative 3. Use the x method, you can clearly see how we came out to the two answers. Alright, so going back to the top of this page, that's kind of an idea of your choices. I'm going to use the x method on here. I'm going to say the factors of 24 that add up to 10 would be 4 and 6. Then I would group them. Those GCFs we took out go in the first parenthesis, and in the other parenthesis we wrote down as x plus 4. Set your two parentheses equal to 0. This one I'll subtract 6 to get x by itself. This one a minus 4. Alright, so if you watched any of the other videos, you can use quadratic formulas, you could use the x method. This one, again, you have options of using the quadratic formula or the x method. I'm not going to work it out. You can go back and look at the other ones. I am going to tell you the answers for this one come out to x equals 3 and x equals negative 5. Just so if you choose one of those methods and you want to know if you got it correct, you can check your work. This one, we had to use the quadratic formula because there's no factors of 10 that can add up to 6. So if you want to check your work on that one, it comes out to x is about 7.35 and x equals negative 1.35. Again, you have to use quadratic formula, so see if using the quadratic formula, you can come down to getting those two answers. And the last one on here, I chose to just square root it. But I also showed that the x method is also okay.